This is the second part of Summer Help Wanted. I read the first part, and it's gotten such good reviews that I was asked to go ahead and do a second one, and I may do a third and fourth. I don't know yet, but I'm not going to give my work away. What I'm going to do eventually is set up a membership only, and then whatever I do with that, it will go out to only the members. At any rate, with this being said, please do not just skip through the ads that come up, and there will be, because this is monetized. I get paid for the views that watch those. You don't have to watch them as long as you don't just skip through them. And take a break, get a drink, do whatever. I don't know when the ads are done because I don't see them. So that's one of those things. Please subscribe to my channel, and hit the like button, hit the share button if you will. Comment, tell me what you think, tell me what you like, tell me what you like to hear. I've got 30 ebooks, and I'm going to do a reading from each of them over a period of time. And I did 4 on buzzard shields, and I'm going to do another on I did best of luck. I did buzzard shields, I did best of luck, I did others, but I'm gonna do some. There's some that I can read part of them, but I can't read all of them. And so what I'll do is read part of them, yes, but then get to the juicy parts, skip over them, because YouTube will not allow it. And it is sexual content. What the dickens? Is this muted? Okay. I don't know. I had to. Okay. That's what's going on with me. Okay. Anyway, I'll get back to this. So at any rate, I'll go ahead and get started. I'm going to read a sentence from the last reading, and then go from there. And I hope you've read the first part, and then you can read the second part to know what's going on. At any rate, he drank the tea, then drank again and asked for more, relieved when her body position was inches away from his, after she settled back from pouring the tea. Did Ray leave enough money for you to pay a full-time man a minimum wage? I know a man who could come to work, but he is married and has to have a weekly payment. I'm toying with the idea of my not being paid. It would only make the divorce settlement harder to live with. Will it be all right if I run some things by you about the operation of the farm? I will always expect you to do that, and even more. I know nothing about farming, and I am turning the operation of it over to your capable hands. Set your schedule as you may need, and make this a profitable operation. I will bow to your good judgment. As to your pay and mine, since we are working as a partnership, our pay will not happen until the crops are finished and the different animals are sold. Isn't that how farming works? It is. Usually the money from the farm organization is borrowed, and the bank gets the lion's share, and a little is left for the farmer. We have to organize. Selling some of the old equipment and getting larger equipment will be the first step. Ray has all those tractors and could really only use 2 or 3. I got to get rid of this. Okay. Boo, boo, boo. We need a tractor that is bigger than the Farmall M, but keep the M. It will do to pull some of the older equipment. I'd sell all the rest. That may be enough to pay for the bigger tractor. He only used a 2-bottom plow, and I'll need a reversible 4-bottom plow later on. But before we start plowing this coming winter, he has a single-stage disc that's only 12 feet wide. The drill takes forever, but Ray liked it that way. I need volume and speed. She searched his face in the dim moonlight. I don't have the slightest idea what you're talking about, but I know Uncle Ray liked to putter around the farm. He didn't give a wink about what he called newfangled things. I know the earth here is excellent for growing, and I would like it to be both productive and pleasant. I know that trying to do something with the wrong equipment can be a living hell. I don't have a large amount of money, but I do have some, and I have the ability to get whatever may be needed. I cannot use the farm as collateral. It is not mine, and I only have it until the rightful owner is named. I will be allowed the necessary time to finish a physical farm year after the owner is named. Uncle Ray did not leave any money to any of his relatives. Most of his people were in debt to him. I am as guilty as the others, and I will use all my money that I can. That's a risky thing to do because there are so many things that can go wrong. What things specifically? The weather is a farmer's friend and his enemy. A good year means enough rain. Too little rain may only hurt a little and have a smaller crop than usual, or even less rain. Ooh, what happened? Okay. Than is actually needed will mean watching the crops die in the fields. Too much rain and rain at the wrong time can be catastrophic. Cloud cover happening day after day for an extended period, and the plants will not grow from lack of sunshine. Hail, high wind, flooding from up north, insects, all that and more can hurt or ruin a crop. A good year means you better put back whatever you can against what is probably coming. That's why most farms are diversified and don't depend on just a crop to generate revenue. Crops, cows, hogs, sheep, chickens. She quickly moved away from Eric, turning her body to face him, and brought her leg to a curl position on the seat of the swing, pressing against his leg with her foot hooked against his knee. Pardon my interrupting. I would like to have chickens. See what this does. Hang with me just a second here. This doesn't like something. Okay, it's the way she's speaking that it doesn't like. All right. I would like to have chickens. I want to go out and pick the eggs. He drank and rested the glass on the arm of the swing. You can always interrupt, as you put it. I would call it interjecting and say it was a normal course of our conversation. We can allow each other the freedom to do that, can't we? She gripped his arm. I would hope so, but many people think it is rude to be interrupted when they are speaking, as if they might lose their train of thought. I have never thought a point had to be so hashed out that it was brutalized. I would rather my conversation with a friend be open and free and thought-provoking. Excuse me a minute. He drank and placed the glass back on the porch railing. I've always wanted friendly conversations to be more roundhouse discussions than lecture. I've only had a few friends who were free thinkers like you to talk with. I've always guarded my conversation, to be what they wanted rather than what I wanted. I have a friend named Jessie Ellison. She and I talk that way, and we don't feel threatened. Let's see where we are here. We're right there. Boom. Is she your girlfriend? Not romantically speaking. She's just a good friend. She's a sounding board for me and me for her. We've been friends since grade school. He took a deep breath. I'm nearing the end of my marriage. It's been a miserable process so far. I think the only reason she is still here is to try to salvage whatever possessions she can. There isn't very much to keep, but I think it is hard for her to let go. I stopped hoping for anything short of just getting out a long time ago. Have you ever been through anything like I'm doing? Heavens, no. That will never happen to me. I have been in relationships, but it has always been where I could tell him it was time for him to leave. I live on my own terms. I know what you're headed for, and I want no part of that scene. Excuse me a second. See, you can pause. I can't. Okay. She pushed Eric's arm and laughed. My way or the highway. It's always been that way. Until now. My way isn't true here. It is Uncle Ray's way. He stipulated in his will that I can never sell this farm. I can't rent it to someone. I am required to either manage the work on it or turn it over to someone who will, and I must maintain a residence here. Only one person can sell it, and it is 12 years from now. I don't have a clue who that person is. I first thought it was a woman that he had a flame for. He hated the tangles of relationships, so I ruled that possibility out. It must be some needy person, and Uncle Ray believed that person would have something different in their lives in a few 12 years. In a few years. I'm thinking that I should have said that it was 12 years. She looked out into the dark night. Anyway, I will have some money if I allow it to produce. I can't do that by myself. Some people have been feeding the livestock and milking the cows, but that is about to end. The boy is going to school and his family has been helping to have money for his tuition. They will finish today. I started to say tomorrow, but it's after midnight. I haven't talked to anyone like this in a long time. He put the empty glass on the porch railing. It has been nice. Yes, it has been nice, but it's getting late for me. I've been up since 5 o'clock. Uncle Ray's newfangled electric radio is set to go off at 5 in the morning. I did everything I could except hit it with a hammer to get it shut off. I stopped it by pulling the plug from the wall socket. Could you look at it for me? He took the glass from the railing and held it out to her. If you could give me just a few minutes, I have a cramp and I need to exercise to relieve it. He stood and turned away from her, leaning his weight against the banister with his hands extended. She placed her hand on his lower back, rubbing small circles with her hand. Okay, I'll get ready for bed. You know the house, don't you? Sure, I'll get this cramp out and then reset the clock. What time do you want to be awake? 7 should be okay. I'm usually awake before 7. If I get finished setting the clock before you're dressed for bed, I'll say good night now and see you tomorrow morning. I look forward to seeing you. Good night. She took the pitcher, glass, and ice container inside. He watched as she moved through the kitchen into the bathroom, leaving the bedroom illuminated by the small amount of light filtering down the hallway. He stayed on the porch longer than he had anticipated and softly swore when he heard Cheryl get into bed. The creaking of the old iron springs brought intensity to his bulging problem. With the resolve to get the task at hand alleviated, he entered the house, moving quickly through the bright light into the shadows of the hallway and the relative darkness of the bedroom. I'll set the radio clock and be out of here and on my way. You will never be in the way anywhere in this place. I suppose you aren't aware that Uncle Ray considered leaving this all to you. Why would you joke like that? It isn't a joke. I'm totally serious. Consider some relevant facts. Who came running every time Uncle Ray needed something? Who fixed every problem he had with everything mechanical? Who found him with his hand under the tractor tire when it rolled back on him and stopped? He was drunk as a rabid skunk. I was too. Nobody aside from me knows it, but you probably saved his life. After you got the tractor moved, he went to the day clinic and got pills which stopped his heart from racing. If you had not found him, he thought he would have died. More than everything we can talk about that you have done for him and the friend you have been to him is the love he had for you. I only knew we were friends. Please sit here on the bed. I can't see your face. He grimaced as the iron springs protested his weight. His half erection became full again, and he wondered if his testicles were going to explode. He had not been sexually active in such a long time, and their ache was intense. Memories of high school when he and Kay would get each other excited until he had difficulty walking prompted him to ask, would it be all right if I just lay back a little while and see if this cramp will go away? I will lay with my head to your feet in a curl position. Wait a minute. I went backwards. Okay, I got to go back here. He puts it in. Okay. All right. I'll lay my head at your feet and leave my feet on the floor. It is really beginning to hurt. Naturally you can. Can I do anything for you? Honestly, it can never be any other way between us. I know, but honesty is hardly the rule of the day in my life, and to have you be so close to me and be the beautiful, exciting, and sensual woman that you are has been pure agony for me all evening. Whew! Need to take a little break here, I guess. Can't get my... Anyway. I've had the greatest erection of my life, and I can't get it to go down. You pushed your breast into my arm when we were sitting in the swing, and it popped like a periscope on a nuclear submarine. It's been looking for a target all evening. I'm an old woman. What does that have to do with an erection? Do you think I'm perverted because you do such wonderful things to me? I am old enough to be your mother. A young man like you shouldn't even look at a woman as old as I am. And he certainly shouldn't have erotic thoughts. You should be repulsed. You should be ill at the slightest thought of me. He sat up on the side of the bed, reached over the blanket which covered her, and pulled her into the light coming through the doorway. Are you repulsed by me? Of course not. You're a young Adonis. Any young woman would want to be with you, but not just any older woman. That is not to say any woman would not want to be with you, but there are certain priorities. Society does not treat May December unions kindly. Does this society rule your life? Heavens to Betsy, no. Mine neither. I march to whatever drummer I like. I've been close to death so many times in my life. I'm going to live my life in whatever manner I'm able to choose. It may be dictated to me when this or that is out of my realm of possibility, but you aren't if you allow it. If I wasn't married, I'll lean over and kiss you right now. Then what would you do? Are you teasing me or simply making light of me? Neither one. I'm merely wondering what would you do or not do. Oh, sorry. Neither one. I am merely wondering what you do or do not know. Oh, it did it again. Okay. I don't understand why it's doing that. Hang on a second. I'll be back where I was. Okay. Know about what? Sex and sexual responses. I didn't know there was going to be a test. There is always a test, whether you know it or not. Someone is always judging you on any number of levels. For instance, and only to show the point I'm making about judgments, when you started up the lane, most people would have driven faster to go over the bumps in a shorter period than you did. You were then judged to be many things: patient, caring, intelligent or wise, experienced, diligent, perseverant. Should I continue? You made your point, but where does that include sexual knowledge? It does and it doesn't, but I was making the point of your being tested. The question, I got to see what this is, okay, of sexual knowledge or lack of knowledge is what would you do next would be real received. What? Oh, okay. Is what would you do next that would be well received by your prey? She paused for effect. Yes, pray, because I have not exhibited any desire for you. Your kiss could be well received or send up a flag of warning. Then I could only wait to see what response I got from you. She put her hand on his arm. Would you jerk away from me if I sent a negative message, or would you jump at me like a waiting predator if I sent a message of acceptance? Or would you endeavor in either case to bring my response to a more favorable point by merely continuing the kiss and make it many kisses, which are continuous and allow us to each build a base of desire? Okay. How much role would your tongue play? My tongue? You might have employed it. You may be right about my knowledge. I have no idea how my tongue could have been a part of our kissing. Haven't you ever kissed someone with your tongue? No, that's disgusting. On the other hand, it can be very pleasurable and very erotic. She paused. Enough of this. You're not going to do anything, so turn the light on and adjust the clock. Tell me about the man you're going to hire to work on the farm. He sat on the edge of the bed with his back to her, turned the switch of the lamp on the bedside table, and adjusted the clock. His name is Hector. It is a well-suited name for him. He is a Mexican national here with a green card. The green van cannot come and get him and haul him away. He and a whole passel of Mexicans are living in the Walters' old house north of town. He hasn't been able to get work, and he's good with animals. I think he is a tireless worker, but we will have to see how much of my faith is warranted. It may be too much for him, and we may have to get another, should be a man. We may have to get another to help him. I'll bring him out in the morning, and you can see if you want him to stay. I will merely tell him I have a day of work for him, and we can go from there. I have worked him that way before. Do you trust him? I trust him to do the work he may be asked to do. I trust him to act as if he wants to keep the job and not do anything to jeopardize it. I trust him to keep his word to me. Would I trust him with a large amount of cash? Not if my life depended on it, because he will send every penny he possibly can to his family in Mexico. He will deserve much more than I'm going to pay him, but he has no sense of value about money. He has never had any. Oh, a few pesos, but nothing like we're able to make here in the States. Too much money and he will think we are insane or outlandishly rich. Either way, he will not respect us, and before long he will hightail it out of here, and we will never get another Mexican to work for us. If he asks for money, tell him you only, I got to do this again, use credit cards and have no cash. Don't leave even a penny out where he can see it. Help him stay honest by removing any temptation. He put the radio back on the nightstand, turned off the light, and moved in the direction of the door. Again, good night. I'll be out early in the morning with Hector and maybe some others to help. Can you fix breakfast for 3 or 4 hard-working men? I'll happily make you breakfast and for all the other help you may bring. Good night, and remember to keep your temper in check because your sign can become extremely violent when provoked. A woman who called herself a psychic once told me my sign was prone to hurting people physically. That is total rubbish. I control me, and no outside force can make me do what I never done. See ya. Sleep well. He left the house intent on going to his truck, then decided he was not going to endure the lane again. Walking around the truck, he went to the building where the tractors were stored. Ray had a tractor for each job he might want done. Eric wanted only 3 to do all the jobs, or even as few as 2. He started the Farmall M and hooked the blade to the 3-point hitch, then reversed the blade, allowing him to come back down the drive and keep the tractor on an even keel. Reverse the blade, allowing him to back down the drive. Okay. Keep the tractor on an even plane rather than the bumps he had experienced earlier. Less than 20 minutes later, he was driving over a smooth gravel drive. He turned onto the asphalt and drove to Merle and Clayton's house and entered without knocking. Both Merle and Clayton were watching television, wearing only blue jeans. Merle stood to get a beer. Where the hell you been all week, Trey? Want a beer? I'd kill for one. I'm going to crash here tonight and get up early. You two want to spend the day with me out at Ray's place? I got a part-time job, but it is just helping this summer and into the harvest in the beginning of next year. She only has a farm on a year-to-year basis. He looked at both Merle and Clayton for a response and continued. I'm going to swing by and get Hector in the morning. You could bring the horses. I need to check on the cows and try to get a handle on all that needs to be done. I might need your help keeping everything straight, and someone needs to go into Willoughby to do a beer run. Clayton waved a hand. No need. I took our kitty and stocked up with good beer and that shit you like. Do you want a good one or keep on with that horse piss you call beer? Merle Harry held his beer out as a salute to Clay. We got pizza too. Want some? That should have been Clayton, not Clay. Or Trey, even. We got pizza. Want some? Who are you working for out at Ray's? Okay. I heard there was an old lady living out there. Who are you working for out at Ray's? I heard there was an old lady living out there now. Wait till you see this old lady. She is a living dream, a total knockout. Clayton leaned in Eric's direction. You don't usually say much about women other than Kay. Is she really that good looking? Looks don't mean that much to you. What's going on? Man, oh man, I about dropped my teeth. She is almost as pretty as Jessie, but Jessie is more classical in her looks. Cheryl is less refined, but she did something special for me. I stood there like a schoolboy and plain act stupid. We talked for a long time before I did my stupid act. And I really enjoyed her. Man, is she smart. She has a master's degree in business. He sat in the overstuffed recliner. She said she would cook breakfast for us. Have we got some stuff to take out there? I don't know how much she may have. I'd hate to get out there and not have enough. Merle handed him a bottle of beer and a large slice of pizza. Thanks. Want to come out with me? Merle twisted the cap off the beer as he sat down. You going to pay us, or this another of your neighbor helping neighbor things? We'll have to wait and see. Anyway, what are you going to do besides sit here and get bored? Clayton slapped Merle on his protruding stomach. Bored and fat. Merle hit him on the upper part of his arm. Look who's talking. Gained 12 pounds in the last 2 months. Growing men gain weight, and girls tell me a lot of it is going where it does them the most good. Yeah, sure. That's why they call you Chief Littlepecker. You two knock it off before you get into another fight. As late as it is, I need to eat this and get to bed. After last night and working all day today, I'm pooped. Kay and I had another fight last night, and she did the old thing of leaving the bed to sleep on the couch, then coming back to tell me I could sleep on the couch, then leave again and come back. That went on for about 3 hours. My ass has been dragging all day. I can't go through that again, so I'm going to stay away from her a little while. She'll be just as happy if she doesn't have to put up with me. It may not help, but it can't hurt. He drank from the bottle. Then I had the good fortune to see Martha at the store. I had to go there to get a loaf of bread, and now everybody in this part of the world will know I went out to see Cheryl. Merle saluted him with the beer bottle. Welcome to the real world. Why should me and Clayton be the only ones to enjoy that fact of life? We washed clothes this afternoon. Yours got washed too. We need to clear the clothes off the bed. You need to clear the clothes off the bed to get ready to sleep, or just fall in on all of it. If you take my advice, you'll drink enough to really sleep either way. I shouldn't have said that. You need to clear the clothes off the bed to get ready to sleep, or just fall in on all of it, meaning the clothes on the bed. If you take my advice, you'll drink enough to really sleep either way. I'd only have a roaring headache in the morning. Can't afford that. I really need this job. I only paid the lawyer half his fees, and he ain't going to do anything for me until he gets this money. His money. Clayton... This is really ticking me off. Okay. Hang on a second. Hang on. It keeps going back to the start. Okay. All right, here we go. Clayton stood and stepped over the coffee table on the way to the refrigerator. We'll give you the money you need to pay him. I know you will, but this isn't like it was our doing something together, and I don't want it to be my own thing. I appreciate both of you offering, and I may need your help before it's done. Merle looked at Eric. We're almost kin. Let us help. You can help tomorrow. Now I'm going to bed. No need to worry about the television being too loud. This pizza and beer will put me right to sleep. Good night. See you in the morning about 6. You want us to wake you up? You aren't up by 6? We'll be finished speeding by then. I'll set the alarm, but do get me up by 6 if you can. Eric awakened to strange noises come from the pasture where Merle and Clayton and Eric had their horses at the rear and north side of the house. Patches, Clayton's horse, and Eric's horse, Spots, were playing in the bright moonlight. It was not unusual for Patches and Spots to frolic in the way horses do. Willie sometimes joined in the tussles, but the action was often too fast or lively for his taste, and he usually stayed away from the mock battles. What was unusual about the play this morning was the low nickering and huffing which horses used to welcome each other. It was primarily Patches, with Spots and Willie joining him in the small scale. Patches was ecstatic. which was most unusual occurrence for him. And more amazing, he was making the noises to a dog as they ran. The dog was a shepherd mixed breed. Eric mumbled, "Big dog." He bent closer to the window to see better. He must weigh around 120 or more. He watched as they moved from the nearest end of the pasture until they out of sight. "Excuse me a minute." Turning the light on, he picked up the clock. 5:30 was earlier than he had planned to start the day, but sleep would elude him as he contemplated what was to be done on the farm. He met Merle and Clayton as they were coming down the hall. "Early to start of morning, isn't it? I'll make coffee while you feed. Have you got anything to go in it?" Merle turned to go down the hall to the bathroom. "I'll check the reservoir on the commode. If Mama found it, then we don't have anything." Clayton stopped and turned to face Eric. "This woman seems to have had quite an impact on you. She's old, isn't she?" "She was in her last year of college when I was born, but nobody has ever moved me like she did last night. I had a solid boner for more than 2 hours. Well, it went down a little till I saw her in the bed." "She was in the bed and you didn't get any?" "I just met her last night. Let me tell you something that Merle and I have never told you before about women. We get laid more by being with you than any other time. We go to the VFW Eagles or Moose and you warm them up and me and Merle cool them off." He put his hand on Trey's shoulder. We tell them if they go to bed with us, we will tell you how good they are and get you to come see them. And I guess the promise works. Give me a break. Are they all blonde?" Clayton continued. "You laugh all you like, but you better believe it works, and it works every time. It hasn't ever failed, has it, Merle?" Merle handed Eric a bottle with water dripping from the bottom. I wiped it down, but I missed a little. He shook the moisture from his hand. "No, really, Clayton didn't shit in you. One girl over at Sims kept going on and on about you, and I told her we were best friends. I told her I'd put in a word for her, and she just about screwed my socks off. Me and Clayton have been using it ever since. It hasn't ever failed, and I'm talking about some damn fine-looking women." He stopped and grinned. The bad part is, this one girl I was already doing saw you when we stopped at the store. It took more than an hour for me to even get anything to happen." He squinted his eyes at Trey. "Honestly, you don't have a clue how many women think you are out of their league and won't even try. They just get starry-eyed and go sit in the corner." Damn it. It did it again. Hang on a second. Boy, it ain't doing nothing for me. Okay. Here we go. Okay. I went too far. Gotta go back. This has really got me screwed up. Okay. He squinted his eyes at Trey. "Honestly, you don't have a clue how many women think you're out of their league and won't even try. They just get starry-eyed and go sit in the corner. Personally, I like it that way. Then us less handsome men can get a little action." Eric looked perplexed. Perplexed? Wow. "Fine friends you are. Don't even tell a friend when he's wanted." Clayton moved his hand to grip the upper portion of Eric's arm. "Honestly, do you think you might start something with Cheryl? If you do, me and Merle need to watch what we say. You never know how a woman will take even the smallest wisecrack or joke. Do we need to be careful?" Eric shrugged. Let's just say, for now, that I would not be able to tell you no. Last night I was in absolute heaven. Absolute hell, too. She's real easy to be with, but I don't know. Okay, there's the reason it's doing that. Okay. Feels about me because we talked about her age difference. It's just too early to tell, so do watch what you say. We'll see how it plays out. Excuse me just a second again. And we got a couple of minutes. We'll get them out to the farm, then I'll need to quit. As they moved in the kitchen, Eric went to the sink and looked out the window. The horses were not in sight. He started coffee while Merle and Clayton went out to feed. Considering the interaction between the animals which he had witnessed, he thought it would be best to tell no one. He didn't think anyone would believe him because Patches hates dogs. The whole town had been warned to keep their dogs away from him. He would do anything possible to reach one and kill it if nobody stopped him. Removing the top from the bottle, he laced the coffee with the amber fluid. Slowly sipping, he drank the coffee. He found his hat and, without waiting for Merle and Clayton, left the house, placed the bottle in the glove box of his truck, and drove across town to locate Hector, who walked out of the house to meet Eric. ¿Cómo está, Hector? Muy bien, ¿es tú? Muy bien. You need work? Trabajo? Sí, you have trabajo today? Un día es todo. One day, that's all. Want más, need mucho dinero. Cuando mucho? Do you want to work today and eat? Comer mucho, home cooking. If you do, shut up and get your sombrero. Vámonos para su casa. Eric was deep in thought, planning the day, and did not speak as they drove to the farm. As the truck turned into the lane leading the house, Hector sat up straight from the slouched position he'd been sitting in. Mr. Reyes, ranchero. Trabajo aquí? Miss Cheryl's farm. Trabajo aquí. The work is here. Is that good for you? Muy bien. Hector liked puerco. The puerco are about to have niños, baby pigs. Do you want to ayuda puercos? Sí, help much. Ferro, fix, speed, lavos. How you say, wash? Do you want Hector ayuda puercos now? Maybe mañana. Today will be a cleaning day. This morning and afternoon milking cows, vacas. There are only 12 that are milking now. There are going to be around 50 milking in a month or so. He saw the white top of the Woods horse trailer in his rearview mirror. Clayton and Merle Woods are right behind us. They brought our horses. You stay away from the line-back dun that we call Patches. Never know when he may decide to take a plug out of you. Hector was not sure what Eric meant. Con permiso. Como es take a plug? Got to do this again, see if it messes with me. Uh-oh, it did. It went one too many. I'll do this. Hang on with me, hang with me, hang with me, hang. All right, come on. Okay. Compromiso, como es take a plug. What is it? It's an expression about biting. In Espanol, mordor. We sometimes chew tobacco, and the bitten part we say as a plug. It's a Western colloquialism or saying. Stay away from the brown horse. Mucho peligro. Much danger. They drove by the house on the way to the barn without seeing Cheryl. Eric was both disappointed and relieved. He wanted to see her, but did not want the distraction from his work her presence would cause. He could only surmise what his reaction to seeing her for the first time in daylight would be. The embarrassment of the previous night was still vivid in his mind. Hector, can you start the tractors? Sí, paseo también. Where did you drive a tractor? I don't have, boy, why is that going up there? Okay. C, big hacienda in Mexico. Drive many, break ground, plant the seed. Mucho trabajo. I'll show you which tractors need to be cleaned up and which ones need to be greased and maintained. We're selling the ones you will be cleaning. They need to be as clean as you can get them, but hurry too, okay? O.C. Hector makes shine. Muy pronto. Make milk, you see. Work on the tractors after you milk and clean the dairy. I will help you if you need me. No, senor, I milk, I fix too. Clayton backed the trailer into the pens where they could back the horses out of the trailer without worry of somebody new being hurt or upsetting the horses. Spots was laid back where Patches was high-strung. Willie was alert to anything he might be alarmed about. He seemed at certain times to make his own problems. He was not the type of horse a beginner would be able to ride. Patches bowed to authority and a steady hand. He was roguish otherwise and was prone to do anything which was unexpected. Spots relished the unsuspected rider who sat in the saddle as if in a chair. He would buck the rider off and stand near the unseated rider to be remounted and possibly do it again. The three horses each required a firm hand from a knowledgeable rider. I'm going to stop here. Please subscribe to this channel. Hit the like button. Do a comment. Share if you like. Whatever. I have 30 ebooks that are on Smashwords. I'm reading this one, shouldn't be. They're on Smashwords. They can be purchased, and it will be sent to your email for you to as a download, and then you can also look for it on your Smashwords page. That's a personal page that you will have that will have all of your purchases, every one of them, in your library. And it's got library up on the header where you can navigate. And you'll never lose them. You can always go back and get that book free without charge and have it download. Well, it's getting cold here. Okay. At any rate, I'm going to stop as I said, and I'll post this and also put a link to Summer Help Wanted on Smashwords for it to be looked at. You can read part of it. And in fact, you've already heard part of it if you listened to part 1 of what I read. At any rate, I enjoyed writing, but I write what I liked, not what somebody might want or whatever. I didn't know what somebody might want or not want. I hope you enjoyed listening. I hope you enjoy reading. I'll do another book sometime, next day or two or whatever. But at any rate, thanks for being with me. La, 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 la.